Buona domenica. Buongiorno, everyone. Hope everyone is having a great day. I'm Eszter.
I'm Alfred, reporting live from Sicily on a very hot Sunday, as usual.
It's August. What can you expect?
Yeah, almost the
Welcome
end
to
of
our
August.
channel, You, Me, and Sicily, where we come to you every week talking really about all things Sicilian. We also have videos from all over the island, and today we have lots to talk to you about. We had a great dinner last night, but the big really story is that Sicily remains in white. In fact, all of Italy remains in white. There was talk that maybe we'll go into a yellow zone, but we managed to stay white again, and that's good. You know, any victim is too high, but it remains stable. So that's the news on that.
I told you.
You
Remember,
did.
I told you they're going to kick the can down the road. Again, you watch to get the tourist season in. 2.5 million tourists have hit Sicily since June 1. No wonder there was a few extra cases of COVID.
Right.
Hello. Am I right or wrong?
Hello. And you know, the other
Good
thing
Lord.
we have going on that has been going on all summer are the migrant boats that have been coming in nonstop in Agrigento and Lampedusa. So also they're coming in. I was watching some footage on one of the news channels, and they were trying to give swabs because everyone who enters, even, you know, the migrants, they have to give a quick swab. And a lot of them were hesitant. They didn't know what was going on. So that's definitely an issue going on as well. And then, Alfred, what else do we have? We have
Not
the
to
other
mention-
migrants coming in.
Well, they're really not migrants. They're refugees coming in from
excuse me.
Afghanistan. But they're not coming into Sicily so far because the government has been letting them transit through Fiumicino Airport in Rome.
No. Yeah.
So, and then they got to go to another destination. From what I understand, there are several EU countries that have said no. Several other countries have said yes. And Italy, I believe, is only going to allow transit so far. That's
Okay.
But we have plenty of migrants over here, so I guess one hand washes the other on that.
Hey, let's talk about our dinner. We had a great dinner with our friend Bernie Sapienza. It was so good to see those guys last night and with his family. And I have to tell you that my heart was so warm when he saw that his aunt, and I believe she's in her 80s, 90, was sitting there waiting for him, and they started speaking in Sicilian, and there were hugs all over the place. And it was just a nice place to go. Andrew's Faro in San Giovanni Licuti. And we had some really great food. I got to share this, you guys, because the food there was excellent. And the other interesting thing so this is what we had.
As an appetizer.
You guys know what these is? Marshmallows. Marshmallows. The other thing that was really good, you know, they served this plain just with olive oil and a little bit of lemon. My favorite way to have this, Alfred, is with the celery and also with a little bit of other ingredients. So that was very fun. The other thing, let's see, what else did we eat? We had the involtini of pesce spada.
Yep.
That is, hold it, let's find that. That was very good. It was different. Usually they bake it, and this time they grilled it. So those are pieces of swordfish, and they're rolled up, and they had, what did they have in it? Pine nuts, raisins, and all that.
I didn't care for them.
You didn't care for them?
No, I thought they were dry.
Okay.
But some of the other stuff, I'll tell you something, that the company we were with was just spectacular. Bernie, Bernie Sapienza from Lawrence, Mass. We had him on our show earlier, didn't we? Oh, we did. I talk about Bernie all the time. He's a legend in his own mind. No, he's a legend. He's just a great guy, self-made man, immigrant from Sicily who made well in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a lovely gal as a companion, Susan, who, by the way, was one of my law students at the New England Law School back in the 90s. But we met two wonderful people, his cousin, Alessandra, and her husband, Rob. And I spent
from Amsterdam,
Rotterdam. And because I at one point in time lived in Amsterdam, right outside of Amsterdam, so I enjoyed very much talking to them, She is from Catania, and he is from Rotterdam, and they've been married several years.
5-6 years, yeah.
Yep, and she absolutely enjoy it. And he's a handsome man, like most of the Dutch men are, and she's a beautiful woman, like most of the Sicilian women are. And they both spoke fluent English.
Yeah.
It was great. I love these people. I hope we get to see them again.
Well, she spent a lot of time in the United States, so that was nice. And the funny thing is, her and I were like fighting over the mussels, fighting over the pulpi. We had the same flavors, and she also loves acitrezza and knew a lot of people there, like our friend Alfio, who knows everyone in acitrezza.
No, she's smart as a tack, that woman.
She is. And can I just tell you this one experience with the waiter that just stands out in my mind, just to show you, what kind of waiters. So I think some people wanted to have swordfish, just have the grilled swordfish. And Bernie says, well, can we have the swordfish? And he goes, yes, you can have the swordfish, as in like, I'll say it, but let me just tell you, the swordfish is not the best today. I love that, right? I love that. He was so honest.
That's because he was his cousin, but they had this particular Andrew's Fado. The word Fado means lighthouse. It's a terrific restaurant, but we only did apps
because there was so much.
They had an extensive wine menu that Bernie, who happens to be a connoisseur, he grabbed a bunch of high-end bottles there. So these gals was guzzling vino.
The Etna Bianco was fantastic.
And I drank. I ordered a spritzer, and then once Esther saw the wine, she gave me her spritzer. So I ended up having 2 spritzers. But I have to tell you a story, okay, about these two, Alessandra and Rob. And they told me the most delightful story. I asked them, how they met, blah, 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 and all this stuff. But the most interesting story was how he proposed to her, which was a very unusual story. Yeah. He proposed to her. They were flying back to Rotterdam on Transavia airline, which is a Dutch-owned airline, and he asked the flight attendant if he could propose for a bottle of champagne. So she says, "Well, would you like to do it, over the intercom?" So he said, "Sure, why not?" So awesome. she got some champagne, and the captain said, "May I have your attention, please, everybody? May I have blah 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 blah," to get everybody's attention. And then Rob took over because he was at the front, and he asked Alessandra to marry him.
I love
on
that.
The flight to Transavia, and everybody started to clap, yeah. And but the most interesting thing was a great story. But what the most interesting thing was, as they were leaving, the captain or the flight attendant came out and gave him the geography, the geo position of exactly where when she said yes, where it was, and it was as the plane was flying over Sorrento. Can you imagine that? What a memory.
Yeah.
Now, I also got a good present from my pal Bernie. Romeo and Juliet, number 3, from Cuba.
Let me smell. You smell. All right. How are you supposed to light it up? There's a certain way. You have to do it the right way.
The first thing you have to do is you want to quickly just toast it over here, just not too much. This is a little guy, so you don't have to go crazy. And then you pull the cap off, and as you light it,
bravo.
I've done this several times, believe me. So, anyways, a great thank you to some wonderful people.
It was great meeting everyone.
And I'm hoping we see them again. And it was just a wonderful night with the ambiance. Huh?
We sat outside. It was a full moon. It was beautiful.
Yeah,
absolutely
just
beautiful.
In Sicily. If that's the type of a night that you folks in the States, had you been here, would have been seared into your memories as a very memorable night.
Sure.
It was great.
And then driving home, there's all the amusement parks were filled with youngsters having a great Saturday night. So that was very heartwarming to see, and a great evening for sure. Now, let me just give you guys a little bit of an update. If you guys missed the last couple of shows that I came back from Boston. It's been 1 week, Alfred. I've been home 1 week, and I know a lot of you have been asking about the experience, and a lot of you maybe are planning on coming here. But here's what I had to show is a passenger locator and a COVID test. A COVID vaccination. If you don't have a vaccination, you have to get a test within 48 hours. And then once I landed, there's at Catania Airport, there's a sign saying, if you are arriving from 10 countries, you have to get COVID tested. They name, right? They have the countries listed, but they called out my specific flight because I came from Amsterdam and said, Amsterdam flights, you have to go get tested. It went very smoothly. They did the quick test. It was free. So you will be expected to get tested. So I know a lot of you are wondering, a lot of people may be coming here and have a little bit of angst. So I just want to put you at ease that the trip was very smooth. I went Boston to Amsterdam, Amsterdam to Catania. And so there's a lot of people planning on coming. They don't know what they need, So I just wanted to say that.
What airline did you fly?
I always fly KLM or Lufthansa.
Yeah, Dutch airline.
Remember, I've been done with Alitalia for years.
Yeah.
Can I just say a quick welcome to all our Facebook and YouTube watchers? Thanks for being here. If you're enjoying this video, please make sure you hit the like button and share it with a friend. And the other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is, I don't know if you heard last week, we talked about our neighbor, Tomaso, that unfortunately he's 2 years old, and
he'll be two. He's 22 months old,
and 2 years old, and he couldn't stand up one day, and they took him to the hospital, and then they had to fly him up to Milan to see a specialist in Genoa. And guess what, you guys? He stood up.
Yesterday,
and the father was so happy, and you could see the relief because I've seen him every day sitting out here pacing, thinking about it. He's the youngest of three, Tomaso, and they think it's a vitamin C deficiency. So we'll see.
Wait a minute. It's not that he's still not out of the woods yet.
No, okay? Absolutely not.
So the thing was, and he didn't stand up on his own. What they did was they took him out of the bed and they placed him on the floor. That's step one of the test that they gave, and he was able to stand on his own without collapsing. Okay, this is after the administration of 4 bags over 4 days of some very strong vitamin C that they gave him in the IV. As the next few days go on, they will try to make him increasingly more ambulatory. So in other words, today they got to make him sit up and then stand up and try to take a step and they're not going to let him go until the kid can walk. Okay. I mean, basically that's the long and the short of it. But all the other things, all the other physiological things have come back negative, which is great. So they're focusing. Can you imagine that? A severe vitamin C deficiency does that. Yeah. It blew me away when I heard that, but I'm still praying. And for those of you who have been praying, and there's been plenty, okay?
Yeah, our prayer warriors.
My prayer warriors have done a wonderful job. Can continue. And I promise you, the day I see him over here, I'm going to take a picture of him and Andrea. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just get it out there, okay? So keep on praying. I really appreciate it. We all really appreciate it.
We've got lots of people here. Good to see everyone. Someone just asked, when arriving here to Sicily, what is the first thing to see? Well, let's see.
The bathroom. Go to the bathroom. And make sure you bring €1 in your pocket to pay for the carriage.
Never been there. What someone should else see? So you have to pick between the West Coast and the East Coast. Both have a lot of treasures to offer. But I would say, if you're coming here on the Catania area, there's a slew of treasures, right? You've got Catania itself, you've got Taormina, you've got Ortigia, you've got Ragusa, Modica, Noto, Etna, the vineyards, lots of fun things to do on this side and also on Palermo, but also on the south side, right? You've got Palermo over there with Monreale, Cefalù, San Vito Lo Capo in the province of Trapani. Then down south, we like going down south too, to Mazzara del Vallo, Marsala,
What is this, a geography test?
No, he wanted to know what to see, and so I gave him a little bit.
When you land in either Catania or Palermo, You are landing in a living museum, okay? Thousands of years old. I think to get the maximum enjoyment, okay, you ought to do a little bit of research before you arrive. Don't look at a pile of rubble and say, well, that's kind of boring. It's just a pile of rubble when you go to Agrigento and you see 2,000-year-old Greek temples. Learn about Agrigento and the Valley of the Temples, for example, okay? It'll be much more beneficial if you do that. And also, they have wonderful tour books that you can buy here with great pictures. They cost $15, 15 euro, I believe. Buy a book because you'll treasure it when you go home. You'll be able to sit down and savor the sights and, as she says, the smells of Sicily.
Sights, the sounds, the people, the places.
Right. Okay. So do a little bit of homework, and you'll be fine, and you'll have a great time, and then you'll be back.
Now, here's another way people can learn. Go to our YouTube video library that has over 200 videos from all over Sicily. Great way to learn about different cities, also different festivals, the culture, lots of cooking and lots of food. So if you guys are new around here and don't know about our YouTube channel, Uni and Sicily, what's happening? Helicopters.
You hear that chopper over there? As Esther was talking, there's been a fire in Acciaiuoli, a very stubborn fire since Wednesday. They put it out, and then a couple hours later, it pops up 400 or 500 yards away. So that's one of the copters that goes into the Ionian Sea, which is straight ahead of me in my line of sight, scoops up the water and put it. And by the way, thanks to the drought, they're now going to have water restrictions in the inner countries, in the hinterlands. They're not running out of water, but they're going to have to do something about the low water pressure in the hinterlands. So far for us, it's great, okay? But that's because we're by the Ionian Sea, but not everybody's by the sea, all right? So this has been a pain in the ass. This eruptions from Etna,
the fires,
the whole tension of COVID.
The heat.
Are we going to be yellow? Are we going to be green? Are we going to be purple? I mean, every day it's a different story. But guess what? We're almost through the summer. Next week will be the beginning of September. And I'm telling you, when September comes, it's almost like someone turns a switch, and the heat goes away. It goes from 100 degrees to like 78 or 80 degrees every day. At nighttime, it's nice and relaxed. Even the bugs, the mosquitoes, they're like full of eating all this foreign food that's been here from all over Europe. So they're kind of taking it easy as well.
All right.
Okay, Bun.
All right. So, Al, this is going to be one for you. Do you recommend applying for Italian citizenship in Italy during this time? Our family is from Sciacca. We have all of our documents. That's yours, honey.
You won't find anybody in the comunes now. Usually the town, you won't find anybody there. I mean, to make a long story short, there's usually skeleton crews now. Mm-hmm. And unless you have a green card, you're not even going to be able to get in, and also showing proof of vaccination. This is actually a bad time to come, unless you have a connection. If you have a connection in a particular town, your cousin knows the guy over there and he's opening up the back door for you. That's something different.
Yeah.
But just to walk in late August where there's a skeleton cruise while everybody is vacationing, bad timing.
And as you said, now there's the new rules that you have to show a green certificate, which means a negative test or some kind of vaccination to get into the offices, the public offices here in Sicily. So, yeah, and I'm sure it's all backed up, right? So It's good. People wanting to get their papers and everything, so it's going to take a long time.
Backed up. There's a several-year wait in the States. For heaven's sakes, it's disgraceful. But there's really nothing you can do about it at this particular time.
Yeah, Thomas said 2 years for citizenship cases.
Yeah, in America, 2-year wait. That's just to get that first interview, right? So I mean, that's what the story is. I remember when I became a citizen back in whenever the hell it was, the mid-90s.
Yeah.
I got the appointment right away. once I got my papers, I didn't need nearly as many papers as they need nowadays. I had one meeting with Constantino Correo, who ended up being our client later on down the road. Bang, bang, bang. Today, it's not like that. Today, they're overwhelmed in the consulates. They have backlogs, okay, because people from South America have been flooding from Brazil, Argentina, Colombia, those countries that have large Italian populations. Remember, we went through and we said, Argentina, 75% of all Argentinians have some Italian blood in them. Can you imagine that? 75%.
Yeah.
Brazil, massive numbers. So Venezuela, which is having a lot of problems. So they want to get out. And where do they want to go? They want to come to Italy. But I'm not that sure that the reception is going to be all warm and fuzzy. I have to be honest with you. I'm not feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't even feel it, frankly, from regular Sicilians that it's warm and fuzzy when someone says that they're a dual citizen. I've had several very pointed conversations with people who have said to me right to my face, "Why are you coming over here? To get the free medical insurance?"
Well, we talked about.
I wanted to slap them right in the face.
Well, wait a sec. We talked about this before. It's not, we're talking about people who are visiting. But I want to bring this up real quick. After traveling to Sicily several times, and some of these times to visit my relatives, I have been mostly attracted to the major cities and archaeological sites around the island. After the reflection of these visits, I'm more compelled to visit the interior of the island on the next trip. And you're absolutely right, Nick. There's a lot of treasures.
Nick.
You have the province of Enna. We've got Marta here, by the way, our licensed guide from Enna. That beautiful area, that beautiful region has so much to offer also, right? So, I mean, it's one of those things, you guys, that you can come and be here in Sicily for a whole month and not having seen anything.
Out in the province of Palermo National Park over there. You got the Nebrodi here. You've got spectacular hinterland villages that will take your breath away. Okay, and the Borgs in the Nebrodi Mountain are beautiful. There are many places. You don't even have to go to the touristic places like Taormina. Taormina right now, this week, packed in a madhouse. Okay, so what are you doing? You're walking down the main thoroughfare there, which is filled with gift shops and gelaterias and stuff like that. But you're almost like a herd of cattle. Whereas you go to some of these small places that don't get the tourists, and there's where you get the feel.
Exactly.
The feel of what living in Sicily is about. That's
my favorite. That's my favorite.
Me too.
For sure.
We both love it.
John said, when you guys dine out, do you drink the house wine? We do. We usually get the house wine for sure. But Bernie, yesterday, he just ordered a bunch of great white wine from Mount Etna. Etna Bianco was really great. The other thing I wanted to say, that you made a really good point, Alfred, that before you come here, try to educate yourself as much as possible, because you don't want to come here and then see a bunch of buildings, a bunch of ruins, and be like, what does this mean? Once you educate yourself a little bit more through, for example, our YouTube videos, or even going and Googling it, and you have a much deeper appreciation for sure at some of these places. And I always tell people to get off the main streets, take the side roads, the side streets. Even in places like Taormina, there's plenty of little nooks and crannies that you can go to that have beautiful vistas, and not the touristy places, like you have the Via Corso Umberto is the main one, but you wander off into the little places, and it's a great thing to see. Now, one of the most favorite things that I've done in the past year and a half are these ancestral home videos, where people sponsor a video and we travel to certain cities and towns and feature them, because I got to see a part of Sicily that I wouldn't have otherwise seen, because it's not part of our tour. So that's been a great little thing to do. Palma de Montechiaro comes to mind in the province of Agrigento, which was just such a gem. Cianciana, also in the province of Agrigento. We would have never have gone to these beautiful towns.
Melilli, excuse me, Sal Paterno's place that was just blocked. It just knocked me over. He's here, by the way. No.
Oh, yeah.
Sal's
That's
here.
right. That's right.
Hey, listen, before I forget,
wait, let me
everybody
just
talks
finish
about,
one.
oh, excuse me, I'm sorry.
So, but the thing is that, a lot of people do go to their ancestral home towns. And if you know where your family is from, I strongly suggest that you do that. And another thing, a lot of you have asked me about this, can you find out something about my last name? I'm from blah, 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 blah. There are Facebook pages called Say.We, which is you're from Castellammare del Golfo, Say.We, Palermo, Say.We, and I see a lot of locals and also people from the United States, Canada, Australia, anywhere that you're looking, interacting, and I'll see someone say, hey, I'm in New York, my name is blah, 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 my nonna left at so-and-so age, and someone, somehow, there's always, oh, I know that last name, I know, that was my mother's teacher or something like that. So I strongly suggest that people who are coming here and trying to connect to their ancestral home videos, look at some of these Facebook pages. It's incredible what you can find.
When she was naming all these places over here, for those of you who like that whole Taormina thing, okay, there are other places that'll give you that Taormina feel, but not as crowded. Okay, one of the places that comes to mind is down south in the province of Syracuse, I believe it is. Is that Syracuse?
Yeah.
Mazzamani, which is great. And over on the west coast, right now it's packed, but it'll thin out. Is San Vito Lo Capo, and in Syracuse, again, it's packed right now. But what's the name of that place that we're going Thursday? San
Lorenzo. It's more like a Caribbean, white sands. I can't wait.
Right. What's the place north of Santa Alessia, north of Taormina, right on the shore?
San Alessio.
San Alessio.
The beautiful. It's right before
Capo
Forza,
Orlando.
right before Forza de Agro. You know, when you take that road
there are
up.
a bazillion places, and like I said to you before, if you look at the map and stuff, you may like something that we're not suggesting. Some people, for example, want to come here and do things of an athletic nature, whether it's riding a horse or riding a bike or paragliding. They have all these different types of boating. They have all these different types of activities. So, choose what you want to do and then follow your dream while you're here. Sometimes people can only get here once in their life if they're lucky. So make every day, every minute count while you're here.
Great advice.
I think that's just my
welcome to our new member, Eva, and there's someone else who's a new member. If you don't know what a member is, if you're watching on YouTube, next to the subscribe, there's a join button, and for $1.99, you help support this channel, $1.99 a month, and we put little extra things up there. So it's just a small way to support. But Eva says, hello from Prague. I can't wait for a trip to Sicily in September. Your videos make the waiting less tedious. It's going to be our second time in Sicily, and one day, hopefully, going to be our home. That's nice to hear.
We got
that's
word
really nice
yesterday
to hear.
that Bob DeBasio and Breezy Basio from New Jersey, two of my favorite people in the whole wide world of Sicilian extraction, are going to be with us on Christmas. They're coming
tour.
A Christmas tour. He's a retired attorney like I am. I guess we're both. We say retired attorneys,
not
but we're not retired. But and Bob's a smart man. And he's had very much to do with promoting Sicilian American and Italian American culture in the state of New Jersey. Everybody knows him over there. So if you'd like to come in Christmas time, which is a wonderful time, there aren't any tourists here. It's a great time to come. Let Esther know, and we'd love to have you.
Well, if you go to our main page, which is youmeandsicily.com, all the information is there. So we're very excited. The last Christmas tour we had in 2019 was a great time. It's very festoon. It's great food, different than summer, very different. Lots of holiday food. Everything is lit up. It's such a beautiful experience. And it just, spiritually, it warms you up. And some of the places we're going to, besides, the usual Catania, Taormina, or Tigia. We're also going to put Noto this year, Etna a little bit.
No,
of course,
I'm not going to Etna.
Not on the top, sweetheart. We're doing the Etna villages.
Oh, the Etna village is fine, yeah.
And let's see. Of course, we're going to have a cooking demo, vineyard, and all that
And
stuff.
Christmas Eve at our house. We usually have
Party.
a Christmas Eve party where you can rub elbows with some of the locals. Our friends will be coming over here.
So Robert wants to know where's the best sand beaches. Well, we're going to one San Lorenzo in the province of Siracusa. I strongly suggest, and if you guys are coming here now and wanting to go to the beach in Lido, I strongly suggest that you pre-book.
You have to pre-book.
Yes. In fact, if you're coming here and you want to go to a museum, if you want to do anything like this, make sure you pre-book. Make sure that the hours of operation, because you don't know, some places are closed on Monday or some places are closed on Sunday or whatever.
Good point.
But it's something that as you're coming here, and even with COVID now, because there's capacity limits. So that's something, some places have a 50 or 80% capacity depending on how big the place is. So it's something, just plan, What's your favorite thing?
Measure 9 times, cut once. Measure 9 times, cut once.
Hope for the best.
Hope for the best.
Prepare for the worst.
Can we do a little, I want to just talk a little bit about the little thing that we're going to have today.
What are we going to have?
Okay. We started and we've been blasting out as much as we can on Facebook and YouTube on all the different types of shirts that we presently have on sale. Say Yumi and Sicily shirts, long sleeve T-shirts and stuff. So I said to Esther, I want to have a sale today on one item that's our best seller that we got an extra 48 specifically for a sale. Can you put up the picture?
No, I cannot. I cannot.
You can't put up the picture?
No, I can't right now. Nope.
Oh, anyways, that's surprising. Our baseball cap,
I can't.
Our caps, our baseball caps, we're going to be offering only for this show. Okay, if you just message us, buy one, get the second 20% off, and for both of them, free shipping.
Red and black, right?
They're red and they're black, and it's a damn shame I can't show you.
Yeah,
but because of the interference with Etna.
As soon as this clears up, I'll bring it up.
Okay, so we're going to have a sale today. We only have 48 pieces that we put aside for a sale. So they're great Christmas presents. These aren't cheapos. These are good ones. And they're embroidered. They're not screen.
High quality.
They're high quality hats. So buy one, and then you get the second one at 20% off, and then you get free shipping for both. So that's our sale that we're going to have specifically for today's show. So I just wanted to get
the recipe. You're so right, Chiara, are amazing during Christmas in Caltagirone.
Yes,
really
they are.
All over. Look at that. Deb's here. Can you talk about San Martino? Is this a country my family says? Whoops, excuse me. Says that this is where we are from. Nice to see. What's Mama cooking here for us? San Martino is a holiday in November, but is it? I'm not sure what. There's no San Martino town, but it is a big holiday. That's San Martino is when you taste the new wines, right? In November.
Here's what the story is. While she had talking, I'm thinking, okay. San Martino is the first day officially where the grapes that were harvested in August can officially be called wine. Okay. Typically the 1st, or 2nd, or 5th of November. It's actually a French holiday that was started, and
that's right.
Of course the EU picked it up. Le Beaujolais Nouveau sont arrivés. Okay, this guy by the name of Georges Martel started it in France, where you were able to buy basically what the wine is. It's almost like grape juice. It has a little bit of alcohol.
It's
it's
not that
fresh.
bad.
It's not bad.
We tried it. In fact,
we buy a couple of bottles every year, but guess what? It's like drinking grape juice with a little bit of booze in it.
But Alfred, in fact, I was just thinking about this. We started going live to people, I think around mid-October last year of 2020. And I remember being on one of our first shows, we tried that new wine, the Nuovo. So that's on San Martino.
But that's the day we eat the following things. It's kind of like you have to eat some of these things. You have to have sausage.
Yes.
They make sausage.
Roasted chestnuts.
And then they have these regional and seasonal cookies that are either filled with marmalade or something like that. Nutella. They're like devil. They almost look like devil's food cake. There's the hats right there.
As soon as that cleared up.
Okay, so we have excuse me for 1 second. We have the black hats and we have the red hats, and those are silk embroidered. So we're having a big sale. If you're one of our fans, you could wear it. If you come here, people will give you a free loaf of bread or something. It'd be great to have.
Yeah,
it's a good. So just message Eszter.
Look who's here. Samito si assaggiare il vino. Hey, Bernie, did we hear at the beginning we talked about our
Bernie, I kissed your butt for like a half an hour.
We had such
look
a
what
great...
I'm smoking, brother.
Yeah.
Numero 3, Cubano.
And we talked about the restaurant and how great your cousins were. So
make sure you rewind it and watch the first 10 minutes, okay? I talked about your cousin. I talked about
Alessandra was great.
I talked about you. We talked about the restaurant, but mostly you, Bern, because we know you're Bern. You're the Bern. That's all I can say.
He's tuned in late, so he missed the
first.
first.
I just love that guy.
Yes, it is Peter Scapoletti, November 11th, St. Martin's Day, patron saint of winemakers.
Right, but they celebrated a little bit early over here. It's like they want to get that new wine out, and like Bern says, Bern drinks it. He drinks anything, actually. This guy, Bern.
No, he drinks good stuff.
I remember in the States, he used to drink this thing called a champipple. That is a champagne and ripple. Right?
Bernie, I see the Romeo and Juliet. Bernie, I forget, we had Etna Bianco, and what was the other white wine that we had was very good. Dr. Rosemary's here. I'm interested in the Christmas tour. I'll email you separately.
You would fit great with the DeBassis. I guarantee you.
That's right.
You would fit great.
Brilliant people. We have a very exciting thing going on that we're not quite ready to announce, but there may be some kind of a collaboration between the University of Florida and South Florida and Anna, thanks to Dr. Rosemary, Martha, our guide. So we're working
right
on that
culturally, aren't we, Bonstone? We're right in there.
Nice to see Salvio here. I remember on Ragusa during San Martino days, one used to make fratelli shaped like bulbs, which with seams of finocchio inside and with sugar sparkle.
I never had that.
Silvio is our friend from Acitrezza, which is fine. Someone just asked about San Lorenzo. Yes, it is the beach of San Lorenzo. It's in the province of Syracuse. And as I mentioned earlier, make sure you book a few days ahead. So
we're going down there Thursday if the weather is nice. It's supposed to be nice.
We'll do a video from
there.
So
we'll do a video, and then we'll give you a report on the greater Syracuse area next Sunday show.
Yeah. The other thing that's happening pretty soon is the Couscous Festival in San Vito lo Capo, where people, and I haven't checked yet, but hopefully it will be going on again. But that's a great cultural thing. People from all over come and they compete in this couscous, and you get to try vegetable couscous, fish couscous, meat couscous. What's that name of the restaurant that we like there on the main drag out?
I can't think of it. But I want to tell a pre-Eszter story because I have a lot of pre-Eszter stories that kind of fit in. But I went to the Couscous Festival with a good friend of mine who had spent a lot of time in Tunisia, okay? A Lithuanian woman who spent a lot of time in Tunisia. And we went into this restaurant for the Couscous Festival. And she showed me how to eat couscous like the Tunisians do.
With your hand.
Well, they use their hands. Of course. They go like this. And then they kind of put it in their fingers, and then they put it in their mouth, and then afterwards they go like this with the fingers. And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I didn't want to get grease or whatever.
Well, a lot of cultures,
Not me, baby. Give me a fork. I want a fork or a spoon. Thank you very much. But I was watching her eat it, and she was able to make a complete little ball.
Of course. They're
and
used
then
to that.
put the whole damn thing right in the mouth, not miss a beat.
Great.
Couscous is great, though. You're right, Maria. Couscous is delicious. The seafood, all the different couscous is good, but the seafood over there is terrific.
Josephine says you should come to Malta, only 90 minutes from
Oh,
there.
I've
been wanting to go to Malta for years, but here's how I feel about it. There's so many places still here in Sicily that I haven't been. I'm looking forward to maybe visiting the Aeolian Islands this
Soon.
September with my friend Lisa.
Yeah.
So that's a brand new experience for me. But there's so many great little islands around the coast of Sicily as well. I don't recommend that in your subway. Not sure what
eating with your fingers, John. Best comment of the day, right there from John. That was a good one.
Selena, I have not been to Selena. I want to go to the Aeolian.
Is that where's Selena? That's
one of the islands. Yeah, one of the islands.
I thought she was talking about a restaurant named Selena. I didn't. No, she wasn't.
No, I don't know. But listen, at this point, I want to say welcome if you're joining us here new on Facebook or on YouTube. Welcome to our channel. If you're enjoying this video on YouTube or Facebook, hit the like and share it with a friend. We appreciate everyone's support. And we've had a number of nice donations to help support the Yumi and Sicily channel. So we want to thank everyone. Okay.
Don't forget, when you're in Portopalo in the province of Siracusa, which is right by Marzamani and Pachino, right? Knock on Mick Jagger's door. He just bought a house there. And tell him that Alfred, say your friend Alfred is up in Architrezza. He wants you and the boys to come over to play some tunes. Just extend an invitation to him. Do you like the Stones?
I love the Stones.
I love the Stones.
Mick Jagger.
The guy, how old is he? He's 112,
70
right?
something.
What?
70 something.
And how
He
about
looks
the guy
great.
The guy
And I'm
that's
so
the living
happy
skeleton.
I'm so happy that he picked Sicily over Tuscany.
me
Couscous is
too.
typically west of Sicily because that side is conquered and controlled by the Arabs more than the east side. Anyway, couscous is simply delicious. You are so right, because they arrived to Marsala, Mazzara del Vallo, and that. Okay, Nick has a good question. Sometimes I wish you guys talk more regarding your personal feelings about living in Sicily versus living in Massachusetts. We need to do a whole show on that.
Well, I'll talk about it. The man wants to listen to it. So
I know.
I'll spend
So
5 minutes talking
you
about
spend
it.
2 minutes, I spend 2 minutes.
I'm a city kid from Lawrence, Massachusetts, as you know. I've said it only 17,412 times. Bernie Sapienza, who's one of my pals, is on listening to the show today. We both were brought up in an immigrant city that was just chock full of first generation Sicilian Americans who worked in the sweatshops. Okay, and we were brought up our whole life, but not in Bernie's case because he was born here. But I was brought up listening to stories about Sicily. Okay, olden Sicily, because when my grandparents came over, it was the early 20th century, and the stories that I heard back then were stories about kind of like bad things, no food, no jobs, all these climactic problems that they were having, etc. So when I came for the first time, I was shocked, as they say here. I was shocked to see the abject beauty of this place. How do I feel about it? Well, I selected Sicily to be my home, and I live here. Does it pull on my heart? Well, obviously it does, since I have 3 kids and 4 grandkids in the United States. So I guess you could say one foot is here, but my heart sometimes is over there, especially now where I haven't seen my youngest daughter, for going on 2 years because of this my son because of this damn COVID. But they ratified and urged and endorsed me to come here originally, and they've all been here. I've had them here multiple times. So, yes, I'm glad, because in the States, I always felt like a square peg in a round hole. Kind of didn't feel like I belonged, so to speak. Here, I don't feel that way. Here, I feel like I belong. Here, I feel like I'm with people with my own DNA, so to speak. Now, I don't know if that's racist or not, but I don't particularly care if it is or not, but I feel comfortable here. And remember what the Dalai Lama said, that the object of life is to be happy. I'm happy here.
And I want to say,
And
Alfred, that, every
most important
time
thing.
that we go to your ancestral home, which is Catania, about 20 minutes away from here, you always have this, you light up. There's something about you as we enter Catania, as we go to the Church of San Alfio, which, by the way, that church is magical and transformational. But something happens to you, right, Alf, when we drive by your grandmother's house, and there's something that happens to you, that you have the pull when something is happening and we need to go say a prayer for someone. We go to the church, and you definitely, you can see it in you. But let me just say something to answer this question, because I just came back from Boston, and I'll be honest with you guys. So there are problems. I'm not going to say, Sicily is paradise for sure. Living here is a different story. There's a lot to consider, a lot of obstacles. Life, the pace of life in of itself is very different coming from Boston. But for me, if it wasn't for my mom, my sisters, my niece, my friends, I probably would stay here the whole time. And I just spent 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I just spent 3 weeks in Boston, and it wasn't, I cherished every minute that I had with my mom, with my niece, with my sister. But it was, getting home, I felt, and here's the key, getting home, coming back here was home. This to me feels home. And I've told this story many times, that 7 years ago, when I first landed here, when we did the first set of You, Me, and Sicily videos for YouTube, and then I got a little bit of downtime to explore. I remember going down to Acitrezza, and something in my body just clicked. Everything just clicked. It felt like home. But also, I'm of Hungarian descent. I was born in Hungary. For me, it was a very familiar feeling being here in Sicily. And I'm very thankful, thanks to Alfred, of course, because had we not done the interview on your brother's show, You, Me, and Sicily would not have existed. But thanks to you, Alfred, really, you introduced me to this paradise. Had I not met you, probably I wouldn't have made it to Sicily. Who knows, of course, but that's my feeling about living here.
Listen, I live here and I learn something new every single day, too, about the history, about the people here in Sicily. I'm a student of the mind, so to speak, and I write, okay? So to me, it's just an intoxicating place to get your spirit, put on fire. So if you're a creative person, whether you're in the arts, whether you're into dance or music, or myself, whether you're into writing, and this is a great place to be. I don't mind.
And throughout the centuries, lots of artists and people have come here and have used Sicily as their backdrop. Do you have any thoughts on rentals in Palermo? I'm in Palermo using Idealist and Subito search for short or long-term rentals and assess the rental situation here in Palermo. So this is here. Thank you for becoming a member of our YouTube, by the way. So he was the one who asked Alfred, and perhaps you, on a private email, we can talk about this, about they were asking for some kind of a deposit, and he wants to know if that deposit is going to the realtor as
How long is this man going to be there?
I'm not sure. He's
How long
on
are you
email.
going to be here for?
He is a YouTube member, so we are
If
connected.
it's going to be a long-term situation, get a lawyer, okay? Because you need to read the lease. Don't give a nickel until you look at it. At least you have somebody to look at the lease, okay? Not your cousin Mabel either. Have somebody look at the lease, okay? Let me repeat that. Have somebody look at the lease and then make damn sure it gets registered, okay? Get a lawyer. That's all I can say to you, okay? Let the lawyer talk to the realtor, or let the lawyer talk to the owner of the establishment, okay? Make sure that the house is zoned, for example. Make sure he's not doing it in the black, for example. Make sure it has a certificate of occupancy, for example. There are 10 million things that you should do that unsuspecting people who are enamored with coming to Sicily neglect, because they're so busy looking at the beauty that they end up getting screwed. Okay, so my advice always has been
booed and
tattooed. So my advice always is be get a professional.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, in the long run, you'll save a ton of dough.
I had such a nice visit with Peter and
I love
Janine.
Peter.
That was such a nice visit, and his tomato plants. Oh my God, I'm still thinking about
Italian
his tomato.
Coast Guard helicopter.
And he's brilliant. He's brilliant.
Hey, how does Peter know
he
that?
know this? Peter, how do you know this? Oh
He's
my
right
God.
there.
No. Sylvia, do you get your residency in Sicily? I'm Hungarian. I do have my residency card. I am Hungarian. I have my Hungarian passport, and we did go through the residency process, which is a multi-level process. I talked about it on one of our
Pain in the ass.
behind. It was,
Pain
and
in
you
the
know,
ass.
I don't know if it's
Nothing
COVID
is
or
easy.
what's
Nothing
COVID.
is easy in Sicily.
And that's what one of the things that I had to get accustomed to. But Alfred, things aren't exactly smooth anywhere else, especially in the United States right now.
Can I
But
do
let me
wait a show and tell
wait a
for
second.
Rob
Let me
and
just
Bernie?
let me just finish
All right.
here. The one thing that I do want to say that you definitely want to do your research before you're getting into residency, because you go to the community and you don't have all the paperwork, you can bet you're going to be turned away after having to wait for weeks to get an appointment, right? So that was a very interesting process.
I want to do a quick show and tell, okay?
Go ahead.
I want to teach you guys something. This particular product I'm going to show you is available at Whole Foods. How does that sound? It's Dutch. They usually and here's that damn helicopter that Peter was talking about.
This is unbelievable.
Peter, how the
Oh
hell?
no, they're hovering over the water.
Oh, he's right there. He's picking up
right
water.
there.
Yeah.
All right. Wait
Peter,
a
that's
sec.
about.
I want to turn this around so they
No,
I
it's
can
too low.
show the
It's too
people.
low. It's too low.
Wait a sec. I just want to show people real quick, and then you can do. I don't know if you can see. Nope. Wow, there's a lot of activity happening.
How the hell did Peter know? I know. Google Maps.
He's
I bet you, Peter, are you on Google Maps or something?
I don't know. But
He's right there. It's unbelievable. Anyways,
go ahead, honey.
Esther got this for me at Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam. It's a Dutch thing. And last night, with my friend Rob that I just met, who from Holland, we were talking about them. They're called stroopwafels. Stroopwafels.
What's inside?
And inside there's caramel. And what they do in Holland, they serve these things warm. You can nuke them for a few seconds, or you can put them right over the cup of coffee, and it makes it nice and soft.
And look at this box that it came in. Isn't that a beautiful box? A can, excuse me, a can.
But
and we're going to see, we always save these cans.
We both learned a word. Well, we didn't learn a word. We both simultaneously said a word to each other yesterday. Of course, he pronounced it better than I did. Skavenagel. You know what Skavenagel is? I'm going to tell you, because this is one of the first things I learned when I lived in Holland many years ago. During the Second World War, when the Germans were there, and then finally the Dutch and the Americans kind of like threw them out, a lot of the Germans were pretending to be Dutch. But the one word that they couldn't pronounce properly with their German accent was the name of a small town in Holland called Skavenagel. So they would ask them, okay, how do you say Skavenagel? And they would mispronounce it, and then the Dutch would shoot them, okay? So yesterday, how's that story, right?
That's funny.
Rob and I simultaneously said the word, except he said it's Skavenagel.
Oh, he has that great accent. Beautiful
Great.
man.
It was a great laugh.
Are you covered by health insurance there? Yes. Yeah. In order to get your residency, in fact, you had to go and get a health card that you can get at the post office, or it's kind of like a private insurance. So that's one thing.
Well, she had to get the private insurance.
Right. I did
she was
to get my residency.
She's a Hungarian, okay, coming to live in another EU country. So they have to get it. But as an Italian citizen, every Italian citizen is entitled to free medical care. So you get what's called the testata sanitaria that you get, and that entitles you to free health care. Yeah,
it's a great thing. Okay.
From cradle to grave.
Should we get a guide to take us to Caccamo to find relatives? Yes, I strongly. And Diane, and one of the things that we have across the island is we have licensed guides. So they're from the area, like our friend Marta, who's on this chat now. She's a licensed guide in the province of Enna, but she mainly does the city of Enna, and there are all her relatives. So you talk about someone who's connected in many ways. That is a good idea. And Diana, I don't know if you heard me. I spoke a few minutes ago also about going to Facebook pages. So say the Cacamo. You're from Cacamo, and there's a lot of locals that also post there. So it's a great way of connecting. The other thing I would strongly do is just put in your last name, or put in your name, put in maybe your nonna's or nonno's name into Facebook and see what comes up. Maybe someone
There's a
from
couple of
Cacamo.
great questions over here. One from Fred, one from John.
Fred says, trying to stay on it, honey. You know that I'm on the show and producing it too. I'm trying to do the best I can.
She does everything, this kid.
Hey, Alfred, did any Sicilian actors or actresses ever make it to Hollywood? Of course.
Yeah, there are a lot. Although I have to say this, and I'll say this for the record. The actors that are in Italy and the directors that are in Italy make far better movies than in Hollywood. Okay, in Hollywood nowadays, with all this Marvel stuff and all this superheroes baloney, and we're fortunate. I have Netflix here, and we have a whole category of Italian movies.
Yeah,
and you can get Italian movies with subtitles, or you can get Italian movies for closed caption. I usually get the closed caption. I want to hear the Italian to learn it.
It's very
but
useful.
It's the same thing as it's going by. I can connect the something I might know with the correct spelling of the word. Okay, they have such good movies here to watch, whether it's a comedy,
very artistic.
I'm telling you, they're artistic. They're and the actors. I've gotten to know a lot of them. Okay, and I follow one of them. As a matter of fact, I actually follow on Facebook. She had a TV program. First, she was in a couple movies. Then she has a TV program, and she lives in Palermo. And everything I've seen her. I don't know if you saw this.
Who is it?
I can't think of her name. Cardinale. Can't think of her. Simone.
Simone. That's right.
Simone Cardinale. She was in that great thing that mesmerized all of Italy about the mafia. She played the cop and the girlfriend or whatever it was.
That's right. That was the mafia.
And then she was in another one, Mafia Squad, which was on TV, a big hit for 10 years. So I got to watch all these programs on YouTube. I couldn't believe they were on YouTube. There's so many Italian movies and TV programs, free, by the way, on YouTube. Watch them. They're great.
Lucino Visconti is brilliant. That's right. Marta also says that Frank Capra, of course, director, It's a Wonderful Life, lots of others. But I want to say one thing about, we have someone here from Germany. Nice to see all these people, because much love from Germany.
Yes.
Do you expect it to be safe, Mount Etna, by September? Yes. Because of the recent eruption. Actually, she's being strangely quiet. One of the things that I was preparing for on my way home, and, there's, because of COVID, because of everything, you prepare for the worst to happen. I was thinking, oh my God, maybe Etna is going to erupt, because she's had a series of over almost 70 eruptions since February 16th of this year, every few days, right? But it's been probably a few days that she erupted.
You know why?
And by the way,
because it's so dry, she's thirsty. She's saying, water! I'm telling you right now, that's why. The water from Etna is awesome.
Yeah.
The water is cold, and it's awesome. You have to drink it. It's great.
The water,
yeah.
On another note, I wanted to tell people that we still have our Italian conversation classes available. My friend Stefania and I just filmed a series of them, and they're online, and they're $4.99 for a video that you can use over and over and again. And we have PDFs. Sometimes I have the video. We go shopping, for instance, and I write out exactly what Stefania is saying in Italian. So you can read it while you listen to it. And I know Sean said that was very helpful for him. Someone said something about Alfred smoke. It doesn't bother me anymore. I'm used to it. I've been with this man now almost 2013. So going almost 8 years. Used to it doesn't.
Well, no, this is a
this
special
is a different
exception
one.
today. This is a Romeo and Juliet from Havana. And I also have a bottle. And when Bern comes over here and we both smoke cigars together, I have a bottle of fine rum from Havana, too. I'm going to make us some pina colada.
Oh, my God.
Or else some Cuba Libre. And we're going to sit here and smoke stogies and think about life. And that's what we're going to do.
And pontificate. You and
La
your
Dolce Vita.
pontification. La Dolce Vita. That's another great movie. Cinema
La Dolce
Paradiso.
Vita,
So
yeah.
many great ones. All right. On that
John
note,
Engelbrook had a
I
great
hope.
comment too.
Wait a second.
Wait,
Wait
read
a second.
John. I love this guy.
John who?
John Engelbrook, right there.
John. Good. No, that's not.
He was talking about stroopwafels. He says you can get them on the Dutch flights, and I agree. You could.
Silvio says, Janice Richard. Now time Etna got calmed down, but nobody can do forecasts for the future anyway. To see eruptions is an unbelievable landscape, and besides so many. Now listen, those going up to Mount Etna, these eruptions are happening on the southeast crater in one location, and a lot of the lava is flowing into the valley. So that's, you're not going up to the peak when you come here to go to Etna. And the other big thing, people say they've, going to Etna. Are we going to Etna? Well, guess what? You can do the Etna villages, which we do, which, on the foothills of Mount Etna, you go up. There's beautiful villages and cities and towns from one town to another. You go into a different field. Each town, you have Zaffarana, you've got Aceriale, you go Via Grande, Tre Castagni, Alfred's place.
Director says it's 5:00, Peter. See you guys Wednesday. Anyway, it's 5:02.
Listen, I want to say before one more thing.
Bern,
if you enjoyed this video,
Alessandra, grazie tante per ieri sera. That's all I wanted to say.
Hit the like button on YouTube, on Facebook. Thank you for watching. We love coming to you, and thank you for your support of you, me, and Sicily. And by the way, did you see our sign, Alfred?
I fixed it.
Sicily.
I couldn't read Sicily. Now you could.
Bravo. Arrivederci.
Ciao.
Arrivederci.